Hello everyone. On a normal day, an unexpected person appeared. Hyen's ex-lover. She came unexpectedly, apologized in front of everyone, then left without a trace. No one had time to react. Everything happened so fast. Is this the end of the past? Watch until the end to find out the truth. After taking back the house, Hyen took Hyen home to apologize to sinnhat, his wife. The atmosphere in the house became stifling when Hyen wanted Hyen to honestly admit her mistakes and show her remorse in front of sinnhat. This was the decisive moment for everything to be resolved. Would sinnhat forgive the past? As soon as Hyen stepped into the door, Sinnhat's mother immediately appeared with a stern look and a warning voice. She did not allow her to go further into the house, suspecting Hyen of coming with bad intentions. The atmosphere became suffocatingly tense when reproaches and doubts intertwined with Hyen's weak explanation. Thanks to the gentle persuasion of her adopted son, Sinnhat's mother reluctantly let Hyen enter the house, but did not forget to give a stern warning. The atmosphere became stifling as soon as Hyen had sat down. She shouted loudly. The angry voices and reproaches were like sharp knives, making the room as tense as a bowstring. Hyen could only bow her head in silence, while the tension. After a period of tense silence, Hyen finally mustered up the courage to speak. Her voice was trembling but full of sincerity. She apologized to Sinnhat and Hyen for past mistakes, hoping to receive forgiveness from everyone. Hyen's eyes contained deep regret, making the atmosphere in the room less stuffy, opening up an opportunity for reconciliation and starting a new page. Everyone was silent, waiting for Sinnhat and Hyen's reaction. Even though Hyen had sincerely apologized, her voice trembling and sincere, begging for forgiveness, Sinnhat remained silent, her cold eyes unwavering. She could not forget the pain that Hyen had caused her and her husband. Sinnhat knew that no matter how sincere the apology was, it could not erase the wounds that had been deeply imprinted in her heart and her husband's life. Without saying anything, she pointed straight at his face, her eyes filled with sadness and anger, then used actions instead of words. She gently placed her hand on her chest, which had been the center of the pain caused by conflicts, misunderstandings, and heartache. That gesture made the atmosphere in the room heavier than ever. Sinnhat looked straight at Hyen, using actions to describe his words. No matter how sorry you are, what you have done has hurt my husband and I too much. It's not just words, but actions and the trust that has been lost. That moment made everyone feel the pain and determination to maintain Sinnhat's boundaries, like an impassable wall. Seeing Sinnhat's cold eyes and refusal, Hyen had no other choice. She used all her heart, placed her hands on Sinnhat's hands, and choked up. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. Please give me a chance. Forgive me this time. Hyen lowered her head, tears rolling down her cheeks, regret and pain evident in every gesture. The atmosphere in the room fell. Hyen's sincerity moved everyone. This was the moment she truly wanted to do it again, to make up for her mistakes and start over, even though she knew the road ahead was full of challenges. Although Hyen sincerely apologized, Sinnhat still refused to forgive because the hurt was too great. At this time, Sinnhat's adoptive brother gently advised her, reminding her to give Hyen a chance to make amends. After a moment of thinking, Sinnhat nodded in agreement, opened his heart to forgive, but still asked Hyen to prove her change. The tense atmosphere gradually eased. New hope was rekindled. After receiving forgiveness from Sinnhat and her family, Hyen decided to return to her hometown to start a new life. Before leaving, she looked at her son affectionately and told him, "Be obedient, listen to everyone, cherish your family and maintain happiness. I hope you will have a bright future, not getting caught up in the mistakes I did." Her loving advice moved everyone, opening up new hope for the whole family. After giving her son instructions, Hyen's face showed sadness. She felt a little regretful, not wanting to leave, but knew that this was the right decision. She gently said goodbye to everyone, her eyes sad but determined. Her heavy steps carried both hope and determination to start a new life, leaving behind an old chapter full of tears. As Hyen stepped out into the yard, Hyen hurriedly chased after her, holding some money in his hand. He gently said, "You said you didn't have money for the bus ride home. Here, I'll give you some to go home." Hyen was surprised, then her eyes lit up with deep gratitude. She bowed her head to thank him sincerely before slowly leaving, carrying with her both emotion and respect in her heart. That moment seemed to light up new hope for the journey ahead. After Hyen left, Hyen returned home in a cheerful mood. He approached his foster mother, smiled brightly and proudly said, "Today I bought you a new gas stove." His foster mother was surprised, then her eyes were filled with joy and happiness. She smiled, shining with deep gratitude, gently holding Khan's hand. "Thank you, son. I am very happy and proud of you." That warm moment made the family bond stronger, full of love and hope. The whole family gathered together in the cozy room. The atmosphere became lighter and happier than ever. After the storms, everyone confided in each other about the past, the misunderstandings, the pain, and even the difficult moments that made them think they could not overcome. Now, all the sadness gradually subsided, replaced by loud laughter, humorous stories, and sweet memories being told. The foster mother looked at her sons, her eyes filled with love and happiness. Hyen also happily shared her future plans, while Sinnhat and Hyen exchanged affectionate glances, as a commitment to always be together. The smiles on everyone's faces seemed to completely dispel the darkness of the past. That day, family was not only a place to return to but also a solid support for each member. Everything was over. A new chapter of life opened with hope, love, and forgiveness. The next morning, the gentle sunlight shone through the treetops, signaling a peaceful new day. Sinnhat and her son went to the garden to pick kumquats to prepare to sell at the market. The small garden was full of bright, plump, yellow kumquats. She smiled as she picked them, occasionally reaching out to pick the ripest ones and gently giving them to her son to eat. The boy grinned, taking the fruit from his mother's hands, his eyes bright and happy. Even though she did not give birth to the boy, Sinnhat always treated her son with the most sincere and gentle love. She wiped his sweat, told him to be careful when climbing and picking, her eyes, no different from a biological mother's. Those simple moments bring warmth and peace, clearly proving that maternal love is not necessarily built from blood, but comes from the heart. Sinnhat takes care of and cares for her child, every little thing, from feeding him kumquats to giving him gentle instructions. That love is sincere and unconditional, making the boy feel truly protected by his mother. Every action of hers is filled with affection, making the bond between mother and son increasingly strong and sacred. After a while of diligent picking, the basket was full. Sinnhat smiled with satisfaction, turned to pat his son's head, and said, "Let's go to the market, son." The mother and son carried the kumquats to sell, chatting happily as they walked. Although the road was long, their laughter made every step light. However, when the mother and son had not gone far, a strange figure suddenly appeared from the bushes by the roadside, his whole body covered in leaves, quietly following them. Suddenly, he rushed forward, grabbed the basket of kumquats from Sinnhat's hand, and quickly ran away. Both Sinnhat and her son were startled and stunned for a moment, but immediately after, she grabbed her son's hand and together they chased after him, running and shouting loudly, "Give me back the kumquats." The hearts of both mother and son tightened, both scared and determined to regain their efforts after a hard morning. After a fierce struggle, Sinnhat tried to hold on to the basket of kumquats, but was suddenly bitten hard on the hand. She screamed in panic, forcing her to let go. The stranger immediately hugged the basket of kumquats and ran straight into the dense forest ahead and disappeared among the dense trees. Sinnhat hugged his aching arm. His son was so scared that tears welled up in his eyes. Not daring to stay any longer, the mother and son ran straight towards the market, their hearts still pounding with fear and shock at what had just happened. When they arrived at the market, Sinnhat and her son put the remaining kumquats on the stall to sell. Although they were safe, their faces were still filled with fear. Sinnhat occasionally looked around, her eyes alert, her heart still in shock from what had just happened. Her son was also unusually quiet. Although they tried to smile and greet customers, both of them still sold their goods in a nervous mood, worried that the stranger could return at any time. While Sinnhat and his mother were still selling their goods in anxiety and insecurity, Hyen happened to pass by the market on her way to work. As soon as she saw him, Sinnhat immediately called out loudly, "Mr. Hyen, come here for a moment." Seeing the panicked faces of his wife and child, Hyen quickly walked over. Sinnhat pulled him closer, urgently recounting the whole incident, from being followed, having her basket of kumquats stolen, to the bite on her hand. After hearing that, Hyen was stunned, her eyes darkened with worry. He looked at his wife's wound, then turned to reassure her, "Don't worry, I will take care of this to the end." The atmosphere at the stall seemed to have dropped. but Hyen's timely appearance somewhat made the mother and daughter feel more secure. While Sinnhat was urgently recounting the incident, a middle-aged man who was shopping nearby also stood listening, his face serious. After hearing, he frowned. This matter cannot be taken lightly. I also saw suspicious people around that area these past few days. The three of them quickly got into the car and rushed to the scene in the direction the stranger had fled. The atmosphere on the way was tense. Sinnhat held his injured arm tightly, his eyes still in shock. The man who was with him gave directions, describing the location of the bush where he suspected he had seen a familiar figure a few days ago. When they arrived, the three stopped in front of a small dirt road leading into the dense forest. There were still a few shoe prints on the damp soil, along with a few scattered kumquats. Sinnhat described how it was dressed. Hyen observed carefully, her face clearly turning cold. He gritted his teeth. It must be him. Very professional actions. After carefully observing the crime scene for a long time, the three of them did not find any new traces or clues. The surrounding land had been blurred by passers-by, and the bushes did not show any suspicious signs. Hyen sighed, looked at Sinnhat and the man with her, and said, "Let's go back for now. We'll figure it out tomorrow." Sinnhat took the opportunity to sell the remaining fruit at the market with her son. Although she was worried, she tried to stay calm. After selling, the mother and son returned home. Upon arriving home, Sinnhat quickly helped her husband with housework, cleaning and taking care of the family. Although tired, she was still dedicated to keeping the family peaceful. That simple moment showed her love and responsibility for her family after the recent storms.